All right, so, you sent us a bunch of stuff about this Mexico-Honduras game, and wow, it sounds like a wild one.
Absolutely a crazy match.
So we've got a stack of articles here. It looks like even a live blog from the game.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to do a deep dive into Mexico's big comeback win over Honduras.
Yeah, it was a CONCACAF Nations League quarterfinal match.
Right. Huge stakes, right?
Huge. A spot in the Final Four up for grabs, and, of course, a ticket to the 2025 Gold Cup.
Yeah, you can't forget about that automatic qualification.
Absolutely. And what makes it even more dramatic is that Mexico was down 2-0 from the first leg.
Oh, wow. So they had to pull off a serious comeback.
Serious comeback. And, there was a ton of drama in that first leg, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Coach Javier Aguirre got into it with some fans.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and in the second leg, there was this late penalty call, and then, almost a brawl on the field.
You're kidding.
It got pretty intense.
So did Mexico choke, or did they find a way to pull through?
Well, let's just say the atmosphere in Toluca's Estadio Misia Diaz was electric.
Oh, I bet from the live blog, it sounds like the first half was a total nail-biter.
It was.
So it sounds like Mexico had a lot of possession.
They did. They dominated the ball.
But they just couldn't find the back of the net.
Yeah, one article said they were playing kind of sloppy, missed chances all over the place.
I saw that too.
One that really stands out, Edson Alvarez hitting the crossbar early in the game.
Oh, man, so close.
The live blog called it a thunderbolt that rattled the woodwork.
I bet that was frustrating.
Oh, yeah, for the fans especially.
But Honduras, they're playing some pretty solid defense, right?
Oh, yeah, they were organized, disciplined. Their whole strategy was just to absorb the pressure, wait for Mexico to make a mistake.
So like a classic park the bus situation.
Exactly. Pack the box, limit the space, and then try to hit them on the counter.
And it was working for a while there.
It was until just before halftime.
What happened?
Boom, Raul Jimenez goal.
Ah, finally.
The stadium just erupted.
Classic Jimenez, right place, right time.
Oh, yeah, the live blog said it was a left-wing cross, and he just slotted it home with his left foot inside foot shot. So precise.
Clinical. I bet that was a huge relief for the Mexican fans.
Oh, huge relief, momentum shifter, going into the break.
Big time. All right, so Mexico's got some momentum heading into the second half.
They do.
But we got to talk about the altitude, right?
Ah, yes, the altitude factor.
Toluca Stadium's pretty high up, isn't it?
Over 8,700 feet above sea level.
Wow, so that must have been tough for Honduras.
Brutal, especially for a team that's not used to playing in those conditions.
Yeah, I can imagine it affects everything, your breathing, your stamina, even your decision-making.
Yeah, one of the articles I read actually quoted the Honduras coach, and he was complaining about the altitude after the match.
Really?
Oh, yeah, he was not happy.
Interesting. So Mexico's home advantage wasn't just the fans, but also the thin air.
Absolutely a clever advantage.
All right, so Mexico's got momentum. Honduras is starting to feel the altitude. What happens next?
Well, that's when the game really changed, and a lot of that had to do with one substitution, Henry Martin.
Ah, yes, Henry Martin, the super sub. I was reading about him in the live blog. 2 goals, right?
2 goals. The first one tied the aggregate score, and then the second one, a late penalty, sealed the deal. 4-0 victory for Mexico.
Wow, what a performance off the bench.
Incredible. And what's interesting is that the 2 goals were very different, which I think shows how versatile he is as a striker.
Oh, yeah, how so?
Well, the first goal, it was all about accuracy and composure, well-placed shot.
Okay.
And then the second goal, the penalty, that was pure mental strength, under pressure.
I love how the live blog put it, Henry Martin, the man with ice in his veins.
Perfect description.
So we've got 2 goals from Henry Martin, but there was another goal, right? Jorge Sanchez?
Yes, Jorge Sanchez. He scored Mexico's 3rd goal, the one that basically ended any hopes of a Honduran comeback.
So the dagger.
The dagger. And what's funny is that earlier in the match, he had a golden opportunity to score, and he just completely messed it up.
Oh, no.
The live blog called it a howler.
Ouch.
But he redeemed himself in a big way with that 3rd goal.
It's always nice to see a redemption story.
It is.
Okay, so we've talked about the goals, the altitude, the super sub, but we can't ignore the elephant in the room, the controversies.
Yeah, this match had a lot of drama on and off the field.
Right, like what happened with Coach Aguirre in the first leg?
So apparently he got into it with some fans.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's not totally clear what happened, but it definitely added fuel to the fire.
Right.
And then in the second leg, there was that on-field scuffle.
Yeah, the live blog made it sound like it almost turned into a full-blown brawl.
It did. The ref had to really step in and separate the players.
Wow.
It just goes to show you how intense these matches can get,
Right.
Especially with so much on the line, a spot in a major tournament, national pride.
For sure, it's not just a game.
Definitely not a battle.
So Mexico dominated statistically. They weathered the storm of controversy. They secured the win. But was this a sign of their true potential, or was Honduras just having a bad night?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is. And to answer it, we need to look at the bigger picture, like who Mexico might be facing in the Final Four.
Exactly. And that's what we'll be talking about next.
All right, sounds good. Let's take a quick break and then we'll dive into that.
Sounds good. So we were just talking about, was this a sign of Mexico's true potential, or was Honduras just having a bad night?
Right, a total fluke.
Exactly. And to really figure that out,
Yeah.
we got to look at who Mexico might be facing in the Final Four.
Okay, good point. So based on these articles, it looks like the U.S. and Panama are already in.
Yeah, they had some pretty decisive victories.
Yeah.
The U.S. beat Jamaica,
Right.
and Panama took down Costa Rica.
Okay, so that leaves one spot left.
One spot, and it goes to Canada.
Oh, wow, Canada. So they had a tough match, but they pulled through.
They did.
Okay, so Mexico could be facing the U.S., Panama, or Canada in the semis.
Yeah, talk about a murderer's row of opponents.
We're kidding. Each team presents a whole different set of challenges.
Absolutely.
Let's start with the U.S. I mean, they've been a real thorn in Mexico's side for years now.
Oh, yeah. The U.S.-Mexico rivalry, it's one of the most intense in international football. And the U.S. has really stepped up their game recently.
Oh, for sure.
They've got this young, dynamic squad.
Right.
And their coach, he's not afraid to experiment tactically.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
One article I read actually said that the U.S. is now the team to beat in CONCACAF.
Wow, that's a bold statement.
It is. But, they've got the results to back it up.
I do. What about Panama? They've been kind of quietly building a really solid team, haven't they?
Oh, yeah. Panama's a team you can't underestimate. Incredibly organized defensively. They've got a knack for making things difficult for their opponents.
Right.
And they've got some attacking threats, too.
Yeah, for sure. Don't sleep on Panama.
No, definitely not. And then there's Canada.
Canada, yeah, they've been on fire lately, qualifying for the World Cup and now reaching the Nations League Final Four.
It's like Canadian soccer is finally having its moment.
Yeah, it really is. So what makes them so dangerous?
Well, they play this high-energy attacking style of football that can just overwhelm opponents.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And they've got star power.
Oh, yeah, Alphonso Davies.
Exactly.
So no matter who Mexico ends up playing in the semis, it's going to be a battle.
Oh, absolutely a dogfight.
So let's go back to our earlier quote. And did this match against Honduras really show us a new, more resilient Mexican side?
That's a good question.
One article pointed out that even though the scoreline was impressive, Mexico still struggled to create clear-cut chances in the first half.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, they had a ton of possession.
They did.
But their attack lacked precision at times, They were getting into good areas, but that final ball, that killer instinct in front of goal, he was missing.
Right, like they were almost trying to do too much individually.
Yeah, too much individual flair, not enough cohesive team play.
I was reading through the live blog, and there was this one moment that really stood out to me. It was when Hirving Lozano tried to dribble through like 300 defenders instead of passing to a wide-open teammate.
Oh, I remember that.
It felt like a microcosm of their first half struggles.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they were trying to force it instead of letting the game come to them.
Right, and if they want to beat teams like the U.S. and Canada, they need to be more clinical with their chances.
Yeah, absolutely. They need to capitalize on those opportunities.
Okay, so another thing that struck me was just the emotional roller coaster of the match.
Yeah.
We talked about the Aguirre incident in the first leg and that near brawl in the second.
Right. Lots of drama.
And one article even suggested that Mexico has this history of letting their emotions get the better of them in big games.
Interesting.
And that could come back to haunt them.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Passion and intensity. They're crucial in international football.
For sure.
But they can also be a double-edged sword.
Right. Too much emotion can lead to mistakes and disciplinary issues.
Exactly. And against teams like the U.S. or Canada, who are known for their tactical discipline, keeping a cool head is going to be super important.
Absolutely. So considering all of this, what's your overall assessment of Mexico's chances in the Final Four?
Well, it's tough to say. I mean, on one hand, we saw glimpses of Mexico's true potential in this match.
Yeah.
The way they responded after being down 2-0, the way they controlled the game in the second half.
Right.
The individual brilliance of players like Jimenez and Martin.
Yeah. Some real standout performances.
Those are all positive signs.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely have the talent and the firepower to make a deep run.
They do, but as we've been talking about, there are some areas where they need to improve.
Yeah, the finishing needs to be more clinical. The emotion control needs to be tighter, and they might need to make some tactical adjustments depending on the opponent.
Right, so the big question, can they make those adjustments in time for the Final Four?
It's the million-dollar question.
It is. I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Exactly. But one thing's for sure, Mexico is a team on the rise.
Oh, yeah. This comeback victory was a statement.
Absolutely. They're not going down without a fight.
They're here to compete.
And you know what? After diving deep into all of this with you, I'm even more excited to see how the rest of this tournament unfolds.
Me too. It's been a wild ride so far.
Speaking of wild rides, we've got one last thought-provoking question for you to ponder.
Ooh, I like it. Lay it on me.
It's a question that might just spark some heated debates among football fans.
All right, let's hear it. Okay, so we're back and ready to wrap up our deep dive into Mexico's wild win over Honduras.
We've covered a lot, the goals, all the drama, the individual performances, even the altitude.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
It has, but now it's time for the big question, the one we've been leading up to.
Okay, I'm ready.
The question that might just keep you thinking long after this deep dive is over.
Ooh, sounds intense.
Did this match truly reveal a new, more resilient Mexican side?
Okay.
One that can challenge for the CONCACAF Nations League title and beyond? Or are there still, some cracks in the foundation, things that need to be fixed before they can really compete with the best in the region?
Wow. That is a tough question. I mean, we saw some real moments of brilliance,
Right.
Grit, determination, but we also saw some of those old weaknesses come through.
Yeah, those moments of inconsistency, the emotional volatility.
Yeah, the things that have held them back in the past.
Exactly. So it's not an easy question to answer.
Not at all, but that's what makes it so interesting, right?
Absolutely. It's the kind of question that could spark debates for weeks.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And that's what we want,
Right.
We want you to think critically, engage with the material, form your own opinions.
Exactly. It's all about going deeper.
It is. So go back, reread those articles, look at the live blog again.
Yeah, pay attention to the details.
See if you can find the clues that reveal the true answer.
Right. Maybe there's a telling quote from a player buried in one of the articles.
Or a tactical observation from the live blog that sheds light on Mexico's potential.
Yeah. There's always more to uncover.
That's the beauty of a deep dive.
So to recap, Mexico overcomes a 2-goal deficit, survives some scary moments, and advances to the CONCACAF Nations League Final Four.
But the big questions remain,
Right. Is this a new era for Mexican football?
Are they back on top?
Or was this just a fluke?
A flash in the pan.
Only time will tell.
It will. But one thing's for certain, this CONCACAF Nations League is shaping up to be a thriller.
Absolutely. And we'll be here to break it all down for you.
Every step of the way.
So until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.